In this video, I'll show 4 before and after pictures and videos of our yard and garden in Oregon. Our lot is 8,500 square feet, but first, this is gardening with ducks, so let's say hi to Roundy and Big Poof. Good morning, I'm Sabi with Gardening with Ducks. That's our morning crow. And in this video, we're going to talk about our 5-year journey so far with creating a food forest in our yard that was mostly just lawn when we moved in here. This is near the end of our 5th growing season, and we still have a long way to go, but I'd like to share some of the progress that we've made. This first photo, and a similar photo, show the lawn and a couple of shade trees that existed in 2017. Now in 2022, we have drought-resistant vegetation, mostly shrubbery and flowers, on a street side of the fence. The fence is important to keep our ducks inside and to persuade potential predators of ducks to tread elsewhere. We've planted several trees. You can see the fig tree and cherry tree, and we'll zoom in on those later. And as we're coming up to the gate, there's also a small eucalyptus that we've planted there as well. Behind the gate, we have vegetable garden beds, as well as a row of blueberry bushes. On the other side of the gate, we have a plum tree and a Douglas fir that will soon tower over and provide shade to the street. In the Willamette Valley, our grass turns yellow in July, and there's very little rain again until October, but then the grass turns green again. In the lower right of the picture here, we have a feijoa or pineapple guava. There's native plants on the left, vegetable garden beds in the center, and blueberries on the other side of the garden beds with some asparagus too. On the right here is a green fig tree, the Latarula. That's a sour cherry tree on the right. Another big fig tree, the brown turkey fig, on the right as well. These next photos show the Oregon maple tree and prune plum tree, which had likely sprouted up from the seed from the larger plum tree on the right side of the fence. Wendy built this nice arbor to train vines such as grapes, hops, or passion flower. And then there's another garden bed behind there. This one's more a garden rose rather than a raised bed system. We have some squash growing over here, and then Wendy planted each of the garden beds and is preparing this new one, building up the soil first. This underutilized space was overgrown blackberry and weeds on top of a long gravel driveway. The shade from the dogwood, as well as neighbors' oak and maple trees, made this an ideal location for our duck enclosure. We have some pumpkins growing up front here. The horseradish on the right is doing very well this year. This evergreen plant is a yuzu citrus, similar to a lemon, but cold hardy. And then there's Chilean guava and pomegranates, which haven't fruited yet, but we look forward to tasting those someday. This persimmon tree is a recent planting, and I think the ducks would like to say hi again. It's a mulberry tree that the ducks and us will both enjoy at some point. And then there's these couple rows of raspberries with crowns hidden behind them. This fig tree is a Stella variety, and that hole in the concrete is something that I've been digging out for more than a year. We'll create some more space to plant plants or maybe another pond for the ducks. These willow trees just sprouted out, and those are pretty good for producing rooting hormone if we want to do any tree cuttings. And then we have those pawpaws, which are an interesting new fruit, as well as the peach tree that we planted just last year. It is true that ducks do like peas. And that concludes the tour of the garden 5 years after we moved here. I hope that you've enjoyed this update after 5 years. We observed a suggestion from permaculture to not do too much in the first 2 years while we learned and observed and prepared the infrastructure for our ducks. But honestly, it would have cost money that we didn't have at the time to ramp up our garden faster. Now the ducks provide the garden with nutrients that we don't have to buy anymore, and we appreciate their eggs and companionship. We just can't imagine our garden without these slug seekers.